Hi, it's Derek from the iReady podcast here, and this is my reaction to the 1-0 loss against Sparta Prague in the Europa League Group A Game 2 tonight. I don't mind as much getting beat against a team who are clearly far superior, like the Lyon game there. I almost don't mind getting beat when the players have given it their all, they've left everything out in the pitch there, and something doesn't happen and we don't get the goal and the opposition get a fluky goal. I can accept that. What I cannot accept is the level of performance tonight. That was disgraceful from every player tonight. It really was. There is no pass marks in that from the management to every single player on the park. They should hold their heads in shame tonight, because neither one of the descriptions I've just given there was the case tonight. The players didn't seem interested for a lot of it, and the level of opposition, they are no better than anyone else we've came up against in Europe throughout the past few years. The level of performance Sparta Prague showed tonight, they are no better than a mid to top tier SPFL team, because that is what we're talking about here. They are no great shakes, and for the players to put in a performance like that is an absolute disgrace tonight. Steven Gerrard has got to have a look at what he's doing in this team and look at the players, the individuals who are not performing as they should and not giving it their all. I think he has got to accept a massive part of the blame here for, one, not making changes early enough in games, and two, making so many changes before games as well. We're having 4, 5, 6, 7 changes some games, and as much as we've done that in part last year, for me that is the major issue. Players just don't seem to be able to get in a rhythm because they're playing with different colleagues every single week, and I know they play in training and things like that. It's a big difference playing in training against your own players to it is playing a competitive game. That is something that needs to be addressed in big style. Before I go any further though, one thing I'm sure will be talked about in the media, because you've seen it on Twitter already, is the disgrace of the Sparta Prague fans, or whoever the fans were, because I don't know who exactly were in. Bearing in mind, Sparta Prague were meant to have a closed stadium tonight because of their own fans' racism. And for some reason, UEFA pretty much reneged on that, and they given around 10,000 tickets to school children. And every time that Kamara, or generally one of our black players, got the ball, there was boos all around the stadium. Now, booing a player is not racist, but the reasons behind it were. So if you weren't booing the likes of Kamara and Sakala, black players, for just being Rangers players, then why were you booing them? That is a question that needs to be asked of UEFA and the Sparta Prague management as well. That's an absolute disgrace what happened tonight, and I'm glad a lot of people heard it on Twitter, prominent people, journalists as well. There is no excuse for that whatsoever. That's nothing to do with the result tonight. That's not the reason why we lost. That's an entirely separate issue. Nobody's going to be hiding behind that issue at all for the level of performance tonight. But UEFA set a precedent when they only banned the Slavia Prague player for 10 games instead of a bigger ban than that. And they also set a precedent as well as allowing more fans in the stadium. They allowed fans in the stadium tonight regardless of their age. It doesn't matter. You've seen from the Cadella incident that the excusal of his behaviour went right from ground level in their own club all the way up to politicians of the Czech Republic got involved in this as well. So this is a major issue that needs to get sorted out in pronto, because we cannot have players doing their job going through that. Anyway, into the game, as I said, we made a raft of changes. We made 5 changes from the Dundee game. We lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Balogun, Bassi, Barisic, Bakuna, Davis, Kamara, Aribo, Roof and Sakala. On the subs bench were McLaughlin, McCrory, Hadji, Lundstrom, Patterson, Morelos, Wright, Kelly, Arfield and McClelland. Now, a big thing was made about Morelos being on the bench. I don't know if that's still he's nursing a wee knock or anything like that, and we're trying to obviously use him for the very important game against Hibs. But see, to be honest with you, he's not been on fire this year, and there's very few players that have been on fire this year, to be honest. So I think a wee bit of time on the bench was justified. But in the first half, it was largely a performance we had seen all season so far, really. Started off bright enough in the first 5-10 minutes. We were fairly quick with one-touch passing, but it was quickly replaced by turgid pedestrian play, interspersed with very few fleeting moments of good play. Sparta had an early chance early on the 10th minute. It was a quick break by them. Bassi slips in the box. The attacker creates space for himself and he shoots just outside the box, and a stunning save from McGregor put the ball out from a corner. Poor defending once again. On the few occasions we did get forward, it was good one-touch play, but we either ran out of ideas in the final third or the final pass or cross went wayward. Again, story of the season so far. Our best chance of the half came on the 16th minute. It was a corner in from the right by Barisic. It was knocked away, only back to our player, who plays it back to Barisic, who again whips the ball in, and Aribo has a header which was going goal bound, but it was headed out for another corner. So certainly, had that interception not been made, certainly the keeper would have had a massive save to make. It would have, for me, it would have been probably nestling in the back of the net, but these things happen. We largely matched Sparta's play, I would have said. Neither keeper having a great deal to do. I think McGregor had a couple of half saves, same with their keeper, it was a couple of half saves as well. Nothing spectacular. However, Sparta Prague opened the scoring off from a set piece on the 29th minute. Corner in from the left, a near post header off the inside of the post. It went over the line. McGregor tried to scoop it out, but it was judged to be went over the line, and on the replay it was a good 1.5 feet, 2 feet over the line, so can't have any arguments about that in terms of over the line. However, absolute criminal marking once again, and again, why was nobody on that back post? Absolutely scandalous defending once again from Rangers. Shortly after that, Bakuna went off injured. He looked as if he came off fine, but you seen him getting strapped up, his thigh strapped up when he was sitting on the bench there. So yet another injury. Hadji came on there. And of note, which will come into play later on the 42nd minute, Kamara gets a yellow card for, I don't know if he stumbled or he was tripped, but he went down, and as he was going down, his legs were raised, as you kind of generally do when you stumble, and the player ran over the top of him, and Kamara got a yellow card for that. Absolutely baffling from the referee. However, in the second half, it never improved, and it was absolutely dire, to be honest with you. Straight from the kick-off, Sparta looked as if they wanted to kill the game off, and in the 45th minute there was a quick break up the park by them. Long ball, attacker gets in front of the defence, gets the ball in the box, squares it, the attacker blasts it and hits off the bar and cleared. Living dangerously again, and once again the long ball outdoing our defence. Weirdly though, 2 minutes later, Sakala actually had the ball in the back of the net from the corner. However, he was offside. The ball was played in. A header. Sakala was on the line just in front of the defender, and he managed to knock it into the back of the net, but he was offside. So, disappointing that one there. Couple of minutes later though, another long ball by Sparta. Gets in front of our defenders once again. The player holds it up. The defenders regather themselves, and the attacker hits a shot, but it hits the side netting. But another long ball. Always down this left-hand side as well. And who's meant to be in that position covering? Tavernier. As we've said, see if he's off the boil when it comes to his crossing, like he was again tonight, then he offers nothing defensively. He got away with it last year because, as I said in the last podcast, players were covering. And I don't know if it's the fact that Goldson was out or not, but we've seen it time and time again when he's been in the team. You know, there's not that cover there this year, so the players are not working for each other. I've seen a lot of tweets after that calling for Morelos to come on. I don't think crying for Morelos has been the issue this season, because yeah, he's playing a different role. He's not been that out and out goal scorer, but even when he has played, our up front has been pretty woeful. He did come on the 66th minute though for Roof, and he was, as I expected, largely ineffective. And then a moment of controversy on the 74th minute because Kamara was given his second yellow card. He jumped up with the player, had his arm initially on the defender's shoulders. As he was jumping, it grazed the defender's face. Referee, his mind was made up straight away. He gave the second yellow card and a red card for Kamara. Absolutely disgraceful decision by the referee. He was getting conned all night with stuff like that. And these are the type of things that VAR should be introduced for, and I don't know why that was never looked at, but I don't know. Sparta had another couple of chances after that towards the end of the game. We had a chance towards the end of the game as well, but it was ruled offside, the story of our night. So that's how the game ended up 1-0, taking 0 points away from the group stages so far. Another disgraceful performance. As I said, this is something that Gerrard really has to have a look at, because he was a bit petty and he was a bit snidey in his comments pre-match, because somebody did bring up the fact that the performances haven't been very good, and his retort was about, well, we're top of the league, do you not want that? Well, we're not going to be top of the league for very much longer if we keep playing the way we've been playing all season. There is only so many times we can get away with bad performances or bad 45 minutes, and we still end up being the winners. There is only so long you can get away from that. The Dundee game, I would have said we were quite lucky to come away with 3 points for that. If that penalty had went in, I don't know where that second goal was going to come from. Motherwell proved the point that you come a cropper if you just sit and rest on your laurels and wait for it being full time after being 1-0 up. They pulled a goal back. Arguably could have been a couple as well. So it's something that needs to drastically change. I would like to hope that there's not going to be 5, 6, 7 changes come the Hibs game. A vital game. Granted, the league is not won or lost on the game at the weekend here, but it sets a marker down. Hibs are flying high this season along with Hearts. Celtic, you know, all it takes is a couple of results to go their way and they're riding high in confidence again, and all it takes is a couple of results to go against us and we're down in the doldrums. So the team needs to sort this out very quickly. Dave and I will probably not be back until next week, so we'll go over the last couple of games as well as the Hibs game as well. Then we'll be into another enforced international break, unfortunately. As ever, if you want to check us out, you can go to our website, which is ireadypodcast.wordpress.com, or you can go to all the usual podcast outlets. So all that's left to say is thanks for listening and goodbye.